In this video, I'm going to break down Marketing 101 for freelancers, and more specifically, creative freelancers. If you've Googled this before, you've seen the other results, maybe you've watched a couple other videos, it's always like buttoned up people in collared shirts spitting a bunch of jargon at you. This is not that video. This video is for creatives who want to avoid marketing, but have to learn marketing or else they're not going to get clients. So I'm going to do my best to keep this simple. As a matter of fact, it's going to be so simple that I'm going to break down all of marketing into one single sentence. If that sounds good, stick around. Marketing 101. How can we break this all down into one simple, easy to understand, easy to remember sentence? Write this down. Marketing is simply this: putting the right message in front of the right person at the right time. That is it. Nothing more, nothing less. People always want to overcomplicate it. And it's because the people that teach marketing have forgotten what it's like to be the person that's trying to learn marketing for the first time. And so they use all these fancy words and these weird acronyms and three-letter phrases that you don't really understand as the person just trying to get started. So I'm avoiding all of that. So we're going to break this down. The right message in front of the right person at the right time. We're going to break down all three of these things so you can actually take this away and use it in your business. So number one, what does it mean to have the right message? Well, as freelancers, we're typically offering a service in exchange for a payment. That's it, really in a nutshell. Now, the problem comes when we message our services in the wrong way. We say, I will offer you this service for this amount of money. I will offer you copywriting services for $500. I will offer you mixing and mastering services for $1,000. I will offer you wedding photography for $5,000. That is the wrong messaging. The right messaging is focusing more on the end result, the end thing that you're giving somebody, the outcome you're giving somebody, more than the service that you're using to get that outcome. Let me actually say that again and try to clarify it a little bit more. Bad messaging says, I offer a service. Good messaging says, I offer an outcome or I offer a result. Think about it this way. If your client is a business, that end result is typically tied to money in some way, shape, or form. If your client is like a musician or somebody in the arts, a lot of times their outcome is tied to something internally. It's something that's in their self-actualization. They're realizing a dream, or they're doing something to stroke their own ego. You're selling an ego in a box. You're basically selling them an inflated ego, which sounds weird, but that's the reality of the situation. You're not selling music production services. You're selling the ego hit that band or artist gets once they get famous in their little local area and can play in front of their few hundred people at a concert. That is really the end result that you're selling them. And the faster you start to realize that, the faster you're going to get your messaging dialed in and able to actually get people to pay you money. So my challenge to you is think through your services more as an outcome than a service, and you'll start to have a lot better idea of how to communicate that to the people that you talk to. So if you're struggling with this, I want you to kind of think through this exercise mentally. Your client is at point A, and they want to be at point B. And your service is bridging that gap between point A and point B. So my question to you is, where's point A? Where's point B? And how does your service bridge that gap? That is messaging in a nutshell. So if you can really start to understand that, you're gonna have a much easier time in your marketing. So that's the first part of marketing. Let's go back to that sentence again. Marketing is the right message to the right person at the right time. So now we're on the second part, getting the right message in front of the right person. What do we mean by the right person? Well, this is essentially your niche or your niche if you're American. And this is the one type of person that you should be servicing. And this is the part that people mess up so much because they want to work with everybody, because if they work with everybody, they have a better chance of getting clients because they don't want to exclude people. The reality of marketing is the more you exclude, the more you attract. Let me say that again. The more people you exclude from your marketing, the more people you'll attract to you, which is counterintuitive. And it's the reason people mess this up. A niche is a powerful thing. And the reason this is so powerful is that when you focus on one person, one singular person, you're able to shape that message, that first part of Marketing 101, the right message, you're able to shape that to laser focus to that one type of person. So if you go back to my music production example, if I'm a music producer, and I'm helping people, so I'm basically selling an ego in a box, for lack of a better phrase here, I could go after all genres. I could go after rock bands and metal bands and rap artists. I could go after Christian CCM. I could go after country artists. I could go after all of these different jazz. I could go after everyone. But the problem with that is if I'm speaking to all of those people, then I'm essentially speaking to no one. I'll say that one more time. When you try to speak to everyone, you speak to absolutely no one. And that's because we're so bombarded with messaging from so many different sources in the world. We tend to just, it's like water going off the back of a duck. It just glides right off us because we're so bombarded with it so much. We're oversaturated. So the only way to break through all of that messaging and all of that mayhem is to have laser focus on one specific type of person. So if you're struggling to kind of narrow down who you want to focus on, you're drawn to too many different types of areas because of ADHD. Maybe that's how I am. I'm not sure how you are. There's a framework I've created that's helped me, and it's helped a lot of other people I've ran through this exercise with. It's called PCP framework. And all it stands for is passion, connections, and profit. And so the exercise I walk through is if you're just saying there's two people that I'm trying to narrow down and decide on who I really want to go after. Should I go after rap artists or country artists? So go through each of those letters and score on a 1 to 5. So for passion, how passionate am I about this type of group of people? Do I love being around them? Do I love interacting with them? Are they fun to be around? Is it someone that I just have a really close emotional connection with for some way, shape, or form because of my background? So just rate it on a 1 to 5 scale. Now the second one is connection. How connected are you with people in that group? So if I'm going after country artists, do I have a big background in the country music scene? Do I have a lot of friends and connections in that world? That's another 1 to 5 scale. 5 being I have a ton of connections, 1 meaning I have virtually no connections in that world. And then the final letter to rate on is P for profit. How profitable would this group of people be? On a 1 to 5, actually I do a 1 to 3 scale on this. And this is why it's so important to do a 1 to 3 scale on profit. It's because you don't have to have a really profitable, juicy group. You don't have to go after Fortune 500 companies. In my world, I've made hundreds of thousands of dollars recording, mixing, and mastering heavy metal artists, which is a very small group of people. And I wouldn't say highly profitable because a lot of people I worked with had like day jobs at Taco Bell. But the thing was, it was a small enough group of people that I could comfortably make a great living doing it. And so when I rate the profit number, it's only a 1 to 3 scale because I don't really want it to add up to too much of the whole pie. So think through again, how passionate am I about this group of people? How well connected am I in that group of people? And what is the potential profit in that group of people? And that'll help you really narrow this down. So now we've got the right message in front of the right person. Now we have the final piece of the puzzle for Marketing 101, and that is getting the right message in front of the right person at the right time. Let's break this down. First, let me give you examples of bad timing. Go back to my music production example. If I am going after music producers, I'm selling them an ego in a box, going back to my messaging, I've got to find people who are looking for production services right now. That's ideally the world I'm going after. The wrong time would be right after they released a brand new album. And the reason is, once they release an album, it's going to be another 6 to 8 months before they even start considering going back into the studio. So that's the right message to the right person at the wrong time. It'd be the same as like if you're a wedding photographer, the right message, the right person, but you get them at the wrong time because they're newlyweds. After they're married, you can't go photograph their wedding anymore. So it's getting, again, at their exact right time. And for some of you, that little window of opportunity is super, super narrow. That actually leads to another little concept I want to teach here for the right time. And that's something called the 3% rule of marketing. So the 3% rule basically states this: of a given group of people that represents your ideal client, only about 3% of that group is ready to hire you right now. Now, that doesn't mean they're going to all hire you. That doesn't mean they're even going to consider you. That just means only 3% of a given group of people is even in the market or considered at the right time. Now, the interesting thing is 15 to 20% of that full group of people that represents your ideal clients, 15 to 20% of them will be ready to purchase soon. So if you look at this, and you look at the 3% versus the 15 to 20%, that's a 5 times larger group, the 15 to 20%, the group of people that are ready to buy soon versus the 3% that are ready to buy now. And that actually brings an opportunity up that most people don't capitalize on. When we talk about putting the right message in front of the right person at the right time, most freelancers and creatives and really any people marketing and anything in the world tend to focus on the 3% and ignore the 15 to 20%. And that is a massive mistake because that 15 to 20% represents a 5 times larger group of people, meaning it's 5 times more people to get in front of as long as we're doing the right things. So that now leads to the payoff to this whole 3% rule thing. And that is for you, the freelancer, what you can do about this. If you were only going after people in that 3% group, you are severely limiting yourself as someone who is only going to catch the lowest hanging fruit of all, and you're not even going to get all of those people. It's very difficult to live in the 3% world because then you're essentially relying on inquiries and you're relying on hard selling, saying, who is looking for this service? Do you need this service? I'm available. And the 3% people that see that are going to probably think you look desperate and don't want you anyways. So now we're going to move over to the 15 to 20% of that group, the people that are looking to buy soon, that will be ready to purchase from you soon or hire you soon. And this opens up a whole lot of opportunities because no matter what service you offer, there's a whole slew of things that client has to do before they're ready to actually hire you. And for me in the music production world, if you think through the whole life cycle of an artist, they have to write songs. Usually there's like some sort of pre-production involved. There's a lot of nerdy things that aren't relevant to you right now, but that opens up a whole lot of opportunity for me because where there's confusion and overwhelm, there's opportunity. And if there's opportunities for me to add value to my ideal client before they're ever even ready for my service, then I win at the end of the day. And the faster you start thinking through it in that regard, the faster you're going to start getting clients lined up at the door to hire you instead of desperately waving your hand, posting Facebook posts or Instagram posts, calling out for clients who are looking for your services. That's not the way to do it. Or spamming Facebook groups for the worst. Oh, don't even get me into that. So my challenge for you is this. Think about it from the perspective of your ideal, perfect client. Where are they when they're in that 15 to 20%? The group that will be ready soon. Maybe they're studying into whatever it is you offer. Maybe they're trying to learn about the things that they need to know about before they can hire you. There's a whole list of things that they need to know about before they're prepared to hire you. The things that they need to either avoid or the things they have to have prepared or have done or whatever it is. For your service, you already know these things. List all of those things out and then start thinking through the perspective of how can I help my client get these things done or answer these questions for them. And the best way to do this, and this is something that people don't want to hear, and it's really effective because you're watching this video still. If you can create content that helps solve your ideal client's problems, you will win at the end of the day. You can have hundreds of people or thousands of people watch a YouTube video that you make or listen to a podcast that you created or read a blog article that you wrote and help them solve a problem. And that puts you on their radar at the perfect time because they're about to hire for whatever service you offer. They're just not ready quite yet, and they will be ready soon. And this is the difference between hunting and farming. Hunting is going out and finding the readily available people that just happen to be out at the time and throwing a spear at them and dragging them back to your cave. Farming is saying, I will take the time, effort, and energy to sow the seeds today so that I can reap the rewards later, but at greater quantity so that I never have to go hunting again. That is the power of this, and it's something called content marketing. Now, that's my chosen way of marketing. There's actually a lot of different ways you can do it. You don't have to do content marketing. You don't ever have to be on video or do a podcast. There's other things you can do, but that's all I have on this video. That's marketing 101. I don't want to get any more complicated in this. If you want to deeper dive into this sort of stuff and you want to get a little bit more nerdy about this, I actually have a video called the 5x1 Marketing Method. It goes over all my 5 different points of the marketing plan that people should be implementing in their business. If that sounds like something you're ready to dive into, just go to sixfigurecreative.com/marketing and you can get that. But if you're not ready for that, I just encourage you, go back through this video and actually take action on the things that I talked about, because I guarantee if you can answer that question, if you can really go through getting, how do I get the right message to the right person at the right time, you're going to be so much further ahead than any of your competitors or any of your friends because you actually took this and took action on it. So that's all I have for you today. Again, if you want that resource, it's called the 5x1 Marketing Method. Just go to sixfigurecreative.com/marketing and you can get that today.